apologize, but
Let it go.
yeah, I did it. There you go. We are excited, actually, to have these guests on. Please welcome sisters Cara and Idina Menzel to the program today. Morning, guys.
I didn't hear the music, though. What was the song? What was this iconic song you played?
You don't know?
It was A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
You didn't even play it.
No.
By the way, that's my favorite weather forecast. It was like, he's like, it's just gonna suck.
Let's be straight. I'm not a meteorologist, but,
Not going to sugarcoat it.
No, not at all.
Sugarcoating.
Hey, congratulations to you two on collaborating for the first time on a book together. That's got to be pretty cool.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
We've wanted to work together for a long time, and then it ended up being the silver lining for us during the pandemic. I had this idea, and I came to her, and then she was teaching a pod. Thank God, she came in. She lives in Boulder, Colorado. I was in LA. She came in during the pandemic, moved nearby. Rented a house with a pool, and then me and my mommy friends brought 5 of our kids over to Cara and said, take them and teach them off the computer, and they would jump in the pool in between math and science, and because she's a elementary school teacher, and it was like, it saved our lives, the moms. We didn't care about the kids. We just, it preserved our sanity.
Often they had a whole like coffee clutch social thing going on outside the classroom. They would stay and chat, and then I would have the kids in the.
Well, listen, that's the whole thing, and I love the idea of the book, which is Loud Mouse, and it's about. I think this is something I think is very key and critical to kids. Finding out, or at least finding out who you are, finding your voice, finding out where you fit into things. And Stanley Kubrick, the great director years ago, said if you could find something that a child was interested in and foster that and encourage that, it would release more energy than a nuclear reactor, but it's hard sometimes to find that thing. And so, Dina, you had obviously this gift, and Carrie, you had your teacher, but finding where you fit in the world is something that a lot of people don't know quite how to do.
And I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, is that the right expectation that we should have one thing and we should find it? I mean, I understand that we should have something that we nurture, right? But
why does everybody have to? Everybody doesn't have to be like me, 7 years old, and like, I want to be on Broadway. Most people are searching and figuring it out.
And we always ask kids, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's like,
well, how do they know what they want to be?
Yeah.
It's a daunting question. To say to somebody in school, say, what would you like to be for the next 50 years?
Yeah.
Yes, and then they might be like radio host, and it's like, no, I'm just kidding.
Not so sure about that.
But I mean, and then here we are. I'm 48, publishing a children's book for the first time. I wasn't planning on that when I was, 10 or even 25. So I love the idea that kids can just be excited and be curious about many things, and perhaps even nurture many things.
And I feel like we cut each other off a lot because we're sisters, and I cut her off more because I'm the older sister and I'm a little bossier. But I like the idea of just as long as people pursue their passion and do what they love, that will sort of take them on the right path,
It comes down to, though, I think at a certain point is some people are timid to say, I think I want to do this. And it's also to change. My trajectory, and we'll tell a lot of times the interns that are with us, you will be shocked. If you were to just jump 5 years into the future, you'd be shocked at where things are and how things change. And so to leave that open, but also, and I think, Idina, I was reading an interview where you mentioned this, you also are afraid of, am I looking like a show-off because I think I want to be this, I can be a singer, I can be this, and there's all these different things you're trying to juggle, and that's the difficulty.
Yeah, and I think that's actually something I contend with even now. Maybe it's because we're women, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure men feel that way too, but that's sort of apologizing for your bigness and your literal or figurative voice. So yeah, it's something maybe subconsciously I wrote it as a children's book, but like in many things that I do, Elphaba and Elsa is these wonderful young characters, and I'm asked to be a role model and sing these incredibly iconic songs about empowerment. And I'm still at my age, still trying to get myself out of bed sometimes and figure it out. So I look at these not only as these gifts, career, professional, milestones, but also as just these beautiful little reminders every day for myself. Like if you're going to sit there and talk to some young kids about this, you better, walk the walk.
Walk the walk.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, the description of the book of Loud Mouse talks about a young mouse named Dee who loves to sing and has a very supportive sister. So therein is this your guys' story in a sense?
Yeah.
Is it autobiographical?
Yeah.
Were we mice when we were little?
We like them being mice because kids can see themselves in these animals in any way and not have to, like when it's an actual illustration of an actual human being, then it's specific to those that look and that aesthetic. But yeah, I mean, Cara's always been so supportive of me. Our sequel is going to be Proud Mouse, which is going to be more about her and growing up in the shadow of an annoying sister.
It's the little sister who goes to school for the first time, and all the teachers are saying, are you like your sister? Do you sing like your sister? Are you loud like your sister? Do you play tennis like your sister? And this little girl's like, wait a minute, I was excited to go to school.
So are you literally saying Idina, Idina, Idina? Like Marsha.
Well, particularly when you're the younger sister, so somebody has actually come before you.
Right.
So it's not, it's one thing when your sister is Idina Menzel. It's also just another thing when you have an older sibling. So I think people can relate to that.
But I've always been really protective of her in that way as well. I've told a story before on stage that, when she was pregnant with my nephew, I heard her singing to him a lot, and not pregnant. Oh yeah, you'd sing to him when you were pregnant, but also when he was born and she was holding him and lulling him to sleep. And I heard this beautiful voice, and I hadn't really heard her sing before, and most people had just focused on me, and so she kind of hid that, and I felt a lot of guilt about that, because I thought, well, if we had put in that much attention and voice lessons into Cara, maybe she would have felt differently about singing. So.
Right.
And I think that's where the timid piece you mentioned earlier comes in a little bit, because I think mostly I didn't go down that road because it was so clearly something that Dee had in a very special way, and I was thrilled by it. I literally, even now, when I see her perform on stage or whatever, it's fulfilling in a way I can't describe. Probably the way a lot of super fans feel, but even more so for me, because the love comes from the deepest place. But then I think there probably was a subconscious part of me that's like, I don't want to be near that I don't want to be adjacent in a competitive way, or even I don't want to put myself in a position to be compared.
Yes,
There's plenty of other room in the universe for things that I can do and be good at, and so I always think about the Baldwin family, or these people the whole family is in acting or whatever, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah, well, it's like my son, everyone's always like, does he sing? Does he dance? Not that I'm a dancer, but his dad's a really good dancer. And he wants nothing to do with it right now. He's all basketball, all writing, poetry and raps, and that's his creative outlet, but he does not want to associate himself with that lane right now, and I think it's just because he's trying to carve out his own identity.
Right.
And I believe that when they're doing West Side Story and there's a really cute girl auditioning for the play,
It'll all change. Yeah.
then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I think I do have a voice. And,
you have to raise them all, as individuals. You can't well, this is what my oldest did, so this is what the middle child's going to do.
I know, but I'm a singer. I want to sing in the car with my kid and harmonize. So I bribe him. I'm like, I'll give you $20 if you just sing.
It's fun. So I have 3 children. My oldest is a junior in high school right now. And listen, Broadway is a huge thing for us. And so my oldest loves the theater. She's in a play right now for her school. And she's, oh man, here's the deal. Her favorite is Newsies. And they were going to do Newsies this year, and then she goes to an all-girl school, so it's basically all boys. But they did Anastasia
cool.
last year, and they only had one boy.
Or non-binary. I mean, we're all about that right now.
Right? Sorry, and so. I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry, I distracted you.
I was holding a toothpick in my hand.
He's waving around dental floss. I'm like, we're doing an interview right now. Go ahead.
But she's a talented singer, and then my youngest daughter is also a talented singer, but she's not the same. And they're also different types of singers. Like my older is a Broadway-ish, music theater singer, and then the younger one is more like popular music, but she's a little bit more timid. But I can't wish things for my youngest that, my oldest is doing, and you just kind of have to let them be their own person.
You let it go.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've never heard that before. Does she write, your youngest, does she play an instrument or write music for herself or anything like that?
we have a piano in our house that is over 100 years old and completely and totally out of tune. And I hear her so she loves Harry Styles. So now she's like, you can hear her playing, yeah. You ever hear that guy? But like, she just plays by ear, so she can just kind of, she's just kind of playing along and stuff like that.
Get
But
a piano tune for her, Dad.
you know what? I looked into it. The piano people are like, dude, it's not even worth it. Just throw it away.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
You're right. Yeah, buy a new one.
Buy a new one, they said.
Then
Yeah.
get her a keyboard. Because I really, I was trained from an early age, and I've spent a lot of my older age trying to be untrained. I envy a lot of the kids that sort of just play and they write their music, and as singers and as artists, they find their thing sooner, their style, their sort of individuality. Whereas my versatility was my curse a lot of times, and people didn't know how to like put me in a box, and that makes their job a little bit more difficult. So anyway, just anything to sort of like encapsulate her personality and the things she's feeling, and if she's playing, and it kind of takes someone that's a little bit more timid, it takes them out of it, from standing in front of a room and feeling like they have to be seen like that. She can be with the piano and
Yeah.
I wanted to ask.
Just tell her to read the book, because we just want,
Come on,
we
man.
just want both of your daughters to just honestly just feel, what do we like to say, to be their best, boldest selves,
Yes.
to be loud and brave, and to just share their gift with the world.
Absolutely.
Hey, aside from the book, Idina, I did want to ask you a question because I saw the teaser for Disenchanted, the sequel to Enchanted. And please tell me you're going to sing in this movie, because the first one, I couldn't believe you didn't sing a note in a movie that had loads of great songs in it.
I do. I have this awesome song. Stephen Schwartz and Alan Menken wrote like the Song of Songs for me, and it's incredible. And I hope you like it. It's pretty awesome.
But I do remember Enchanted, and I remember her being so excited that they wanted her to be an actress.
I figured as
and
much.
not sing. So that was exciting.
And
for
then
me, too.
honestly, then they got so much flack for that they wrote James Marsden and myself a song because they felt badly, and then we shot it, and then they just cut it anyway.
It's gotta kill you. It's gotta kill you.
Well, we get it in the new one, so there's a sequel coming out. Well, listen, we know you guys got to run. Thank you so much. You guys
It was
are
so nice to hang with
wonderful.
you.
Great to hang with you guys.
you.
The book is called Loud Mouse, and it is available on barnesandnoble.com right now. Thank you to Cara and Idina Menzel. Thank you.
Thanks, Take care. Enjoy the